What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Mindful Gains. I'm Bryce. Question: do you find yourself blaming your parents or your upbringing for who you are now? Maybe you had that challenging household that you lived in, and you still blame your parents for what they didn't do, how they behaved when you was a kid. And it's like this haunting type of energy that you just can't seem to get away from. Well, if that's you, you're in the right place, because I'm going to talk about how learning to reparent yourself can help you to stop blaming your parents. All right, let's get right into it. All right, so I am not a mental health specialist, just a regular dude who's been on his own journey, picked up tools and tactics and certain practices that have helped me to better understand my own internal operating system. And that's what I'm sharing in this video. Please do your own research, do your own due diligence, do what you need to do, and not just take information from the internet. You need to learn how to weed through stuff and figure out what works for you. I've already done a video on reparenting myself when it comes to my anger. Now, I want to make this video on reparenting myself when it came to learning how to stop blaming my parents for my upbringing, specifically my pops. All right. Now, even in this video, if you hear me talking about my father, we have a good relationship now, but I struggled for years with anger and resentment towards the dynamic that I was exposed to when I was a kid. And I had to really do a lot of work to learn how to just forgive, how to just understand that our parents are just people as well. They were just working with what they knew and where they were in life. But I didn't know that in my late teens. I didn't know that in my 20s. I didn't know that in my early 30s. That's how long it took me to get to this place of understanding. Maybe it's because I'm a parent now and I see how tough it is, and I've done a lot of work on myself, and I understand how important self-awareness is. But reparenting yourself, learning how to talk to that inner kid, that kid that saw a lot of nonsense when I was growing up, showed up in different ways in my adult life. Now, for a long time, I would blame my father and blame the household that I grew up in for how I behaved. I was really just angry. I never had that sit down conversation where like you get closure, or it's almost like I grew up in the era where you just move forward. We ain't sitting down talking about what happened. Like, man up, move forward. But as I got older, I started to realize how much it was showing up. And I was never one to really like, oh man, it's because of my dad. That's why I react. I never really said it like that. I always knew internally it played a big part in how I showed up, especially in relationships. Anger and those emotions that I never knew how to work through as a kid. I knew that they stem from that aspect of my life. Yeah, but learning how to just talk to myself as if I was a kid, but doing it as an adult now has been really helpful. Also, learning how to forgive people, learning how to forgive my father for just being the individual that he is, has allowed me to be able to accept him for who he is, because I'm a father now too. So I know how difficult this is, parenting. I know how challenging it is when you don't understand yourself and when you have a lot of self-improvement to do. So knowing that, and knowing the time that I grew up in where mental health was not a priority, it didn't seem, it was not at the forefront. People were not sitting down discussing how you feel. That didn't happen. I didn't grow up in that era. So it's my responsibility now that I'm aware of this type of stuff to do the work that I need to do so I can show up in a healthier way, not only for my kids, but for myself. A big part of that is learning to not blame your parents. They may have done some fuck shit. You know what I mean? That's part of it. They may not have known better. Or, we may hold this grudge against them like, oh, I wouldn't even be who I am if you didn't do X, Y, and Z. But you are who you are. And it's your responsibility, as it's my responsibility, to learn from their behaviors, learning how to stop blaming people, and learning how to take responsibility for my actions, my behavior, which I learned from how to reparent myself, how to talk to that inner kid, how to go back and validate myself when I get mad. If I'm feeling a certain type of emotion, how to give myself permission to experience that emotion and not just shut myself down. Like, why are you feeling that? Man up, do some push-ups. Like, No, you got to get rid of that type of inner dialogue. It's like, yo, that's okay that you're feeling angry. It's okay that that conversation you just had, you don't feel like you were heard. That sucks. It sucks, little Bryce, or whatever you might need to say to yourself. You know, so I know a lot of us deal with this. I know a lot of us deal with the blame game, but yeah, I just wanted to make this quick video about reparenting yourself and its value and how you can stop blaming other people for who you are, where you are in your life. Learn how to talk to that inner kid. Talk to him like you wish maybe your parent talked to you when you were a little boy or a little girl. That's what you got to do. There's a lot of resources out there, a lot of information. You know, this stuff is very helpful. It has definitely helped me in my life. If this provided you with any value, please like, comment, subscribe, leave me some comments below. I would love to talk about this stuff. I'm very passionate about this stuff. If you can't tell, I'll be talking fast and stuff, but I'll see you on the next video. Check out some of my other content if you're into personal development. And yeah, I'm out. Peace.